live.
Heck yeah.
Episode 10, 11/8/2023, 9:36 p.m. on a Wednesday night. If you're listening to this, that means it is 6 a.m. Thursday morning. So good morning to you listeners. If this is your first time tuning in, again, this is episode 10, which is crazy. We're in double digits already. So if you haven't checked us out before, go listen to the previous 9 episodes. You won't be disappointed. It's a lot of good content in there, a lot of good takes from previous sporting events. If you're new to the channel, what we do here is we talk about sports. This is Tyler's Talking Sports. Myself, Tyler Castle, my brother, my homie, brother from another mother, Tyler Hess. Yeah, I said mutter. Mutter. Brother from another mutter. Yeah, but... yeah, so that's what we do. We talk about sports here. Anything sports related, we're going to try to cover. If you have any suggestions or anything, be sure to follow us on our Facebook channel, Instagram. Reach out to us, contact us. We'd be more than happy to do some hot takes with your questions, with your just your research and your knowledge. We'd love to hear the feedback. Give us a follow. We're on all major social media platforms, all major podcast platforms. Just give us a follow, give us a shout out. It really does mean a lot to us.
I agree, man. Yeah, I second all that. Again, guys, got any suggestions, anything you want to say to us, if you don't want to put it publicly on social media, hit us up on our email. It's tstalkingsports at gmail.com. Hit us up on that. Yeah, man, I'm excited for this one. If this is the first time you're tuning in, you picked a good episode 10. You know what? Don't even worry about going back and listening to the rest of them. Let's start at this one. This is going to be a good one. It's going to be a little different than some of our normal stuff, so we're excited about it. Before we get too far into it, Castle, hit us up with that sponsorship.
Yeah, sponsorship goes out tonight to Next Level Fitness Club, a local gym here in Lebanon, Virginia. You can follow them on Facebook, Instagram. They are listed at 1806 East Main Street. If you're watching video right now, you can look at Mr. Hess's live feed. He's got the Next Level Fitness Club, Define Your Limits. That is their quote to their business motto. So make sure you give them a follow, give them a shout out. Again, that's 1806 East Main Street, Lebanon, Virginia. They are a 24/7 gym facility, 24/7 tanning, select fitness functional classes for beginners, for intermediates, for advanced. You asked for it, they got it, other than showers. So just reach out to those guys. They sure would appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. I'm excited about this one, man. How's everything been going, though? Before we get going, how's your day been?
Yeah, it's been good, man. We got a short week. We do have a federal holiday coming up.
You get off. You get off with Friday, don't you?
Friday, yeah. So a little bit shorter week for me. And I was off Monday too. Where we was traveling back from the beach. So really short week this week. So not too bad. Heading to the aquarium on Saturday. So Ripley's Aquarium in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, taking my son and my wife to the aquarium.
I'm glad you're getting your wife out. Bet she's happy about that.
She is. I just took her to the beach. Other trips.
I decided to bail on a wedding that my wife's in, so I'm not going to that. I'm gonna stay home, watch the football with Braxton.
Hey, man, there's some good football this weekend, so I'll definitely be trying to record and watch what I can. While also looking and feeding sharks. So.
Oh, cool.
Man. Yeah. Do what I can. I'll be reaching out to. Good thing. I reach out to you daily. Keep me updated on them sports.
That's right. I got you. All right, man. Well, before we get into any of our big topics, any breaking news we had go on today? Anything you seen pop up?
I think one of the biggest things, I know we wrote this down in our notes. Ron Washington to the Angels.
Yeah. Happy for Ron. I'm happy for Wash. As a Braves fan, I'm gonna miss him. Great third base coach. He did some wonders with our infield. As you can tell, since he's been there, we've had one of the best infields in the MLB. But I knew it was time. He was wanting to get back in a managerial role, and he's at that point now. Either do it now or not ever be able to do it again. So I think it went to a great place. I think LA is a good place, especially if they're rebuilding. He's a veteran. He's seen it all. He's seen the World Series. He's won them. He's lost them. He's been on bad teams, good teams. I think it was a good hire. I'm happy for him, but I hate it as a Braves fan.
Yeah, I second that. I think it was a good hire too. You mentioned something there. He is 71 years old.
Yeah.
So if he wants to do this, he better do it now, because now he's the oldest manager in the league. I do think he was the right hire. He is 664 and 611 in his career, which I thought was pretty good numbers. I honestly think it's all going to come down for this Angels hire. the biggest name in baseball and the biggest free agent right now is Shohei Ohtani. So we're going to see what happens there with Ohtani. And kind of go from there. I mean, the last time Ron Washington managed was in 2014.
Yep.
With
the Rangers.
Signed from the Rangers. Yep, he made back appearances in the World Series over 8 seasons with the Rangers. So that's pretty good. He is the 5th manager in 7 seasons for the Angels, which is a little concerning.
Well, I look at it this way, too, though, with this Angels hire with Ron Washington. You're bringing in somebody who's been around the league. Like I said, he's been on the bad teams, he's been on the good teams, World Series wins, World Series losses. So it's kind of like a manager. It's not so much a win-now manager. It's not kind of going out there and getting that guy like the Rangers did like this past year. Got Bruce Bochy, brought him in because they knew they were a manager away from winning a World Series. I think you bring Wash into L.A., Ohtani's not coming back to L.A. If he was, he would have signed that contract. And there's already speculation that they may trade Trout over the winter meetings. And I think you bring him in there, and he'd help develop that young talent. He's very good at developing the young kids that they got. And they got a very young roster. I think it's a great hire. I mean, if for whatever reason magically Ohtani decides to stay and they keep Trout and he's there with them, I mean, great. But I think it's definitely a good hire to have somebody there to develop them and then get them to the next step at where they need to be. So, good for them.
Ron definitely knows baseball. I mean, that's all he's known his whole life. So, yeah, I agree with you. Good hire. Biggest concerns, though, like, he's talking about Ohtani. Ohtani is probably going to leave. I know we're going to talk about some baseball trades and where we think they're going here a little bit later in the pod. But if you look at, like, Angels, for instance, I looked up some stats. I mean, they're pitching this past year. The overall ERA was a 4.64, which ranked 23rd out of 30. Not counting one of the worst bullpens in the league. So, I mean, I think if you're Ron Washington coming in there, you're looking at pitching first. Then you're going to have to fill the shoes of Ohtani, which can't be easy. Which they do have some good rookies and some good prospects coming up through their farm system. So, the Angels were good halfway through the season. I think they went on like a 10-game win streak for a little while. Yeah. So right in the middle of the season, and then they fell off. Same thing happened in 2021 with the Angels. So I'm curious to see how Washington does out on the West Coast. This will definitely be a challenge. It's not easy to coach in Anaheim. The last time they made the playoffs was 2009. So yeah, and you mentioned another big name there too, Mike Trout. What happens there is going to be another thing too.
If I'm the Angels, like you said, they need pitching. They need some people there. Let's move on from Trout. Let's send him somewhere, get a bunch of prospects, get a bunch of young pitchers, bring them in there. And I mean, Ron Washington, this was the last time he was a manager. He was a manager of the AL West team in the Rangers, so he's used to playing out there. He's used to that division. I don't think they could have done any better with the hire unless you go out and get like Craig Counsell. So good for them.
Which we know what happened there, but good for the Angels. I'm with you on that. Ron Washington, already looking forward to baseball. I'm already ready for spring training. I'm already ready for baseball to be back.
That's the cool thing about baseball. Like right now, the World Series ended, and yesterday free agency started, so they can start signing to different teams. So it's kind of like baseball stops, but it don't stop. So.
And guys or listeners, make sure to follow us on our Facebook and Instagram because Hess runs our social media accounts and he's always on top of these trades and what's going on in the latest news. So make sure you follow us there if you want to keep up with these trades because we announced this morning Ron Washington to the Angels. So you can find out firsthand from us on those pages.
Yeah, I usually try to get it. I got a couple sources and stuff I look at. And I try to get it out there before you get a notification about it on your phone. So usually if you've got a notification about it on your phone, it's usually already posted to our Facebook. So I try to beat out at least the ESPNs and the Bleacher Reports out there. So yeah, give us a follow.
It's hard to beat that Bleacher Report.
It is. So just like I said, give us a follow, like on our Facebook, Instagram. Our Twitter's just as active. We're a little bit more talkative on Twitter, just as far as just tweeting our opinions. But as far as breaking news and stuff, Instagram and Facebook's the way to go.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, man, let's move on to after we got done talking about Ron Washington, we'll jump back into baseball here in the next couple of minutes. But let's talk about the NBA.
Yeah, National Basketball Association.
Yeah.
So the other night I saw Lakers upset with refs' treatment of LeBron.
And usually I'm sitting here, I'm like, come on, let's not do this. But I watched some of that game. Braxton was wanting to watch a little bit of it, and I watched it. And I mean, obviously, Braxton didn't get to watch all. It was a late game, but they were some stuff. It was kind of like usually it's like LeBron gets those calls, but they were some stuff. I mean, he was getting hacked, and there was some things. There were just things across the whole board there. It was really questionable. So I mean, good for the Lakers for
recognize them.
Yeah, putting it on notice.
Yeah, I went back and watched the highlights of that game since we know you did mark this down for something to talk about in the pod for today. So I went back and just recapped what I'd read before, in the news media, stuff like that. So I went back and rewatched, and you can see multiple fouls that they did not call. It's basketball. It's just like any other sport. They're going to miss calls. They're going to make calls. So you can't blame it technically on the calls. But if you do look at some of the calls that were called against the Lakers, that did get teed up. Their coach got teed up twice. I think 2 or 3 players got teed up. That's automatic points for the other team. And then the Heat ended up beating them by 1.
Yeah.
So that can come into a factor. So I see LeBron's frustration. Still super early in the season. I mean, we're not even 10 games in. So there's plenty of time to, turn this around. We got 81 games. We got a huge tournament coming up, in-season tournament that's going to be awesome.
That's already started.
Yeah, for 60.
Yeah.
How many games? 60?
67.
67. Okay, yeah. Yeah, 67 games is going to be in that tournament. So a lot of basketball left. As LeBron said, to shake it off and move on to the next one. So
yeah,
I get the frustration though. I mean, especially too as a fan, somebody that was a fan of the Lakers, which I'm not, Josh Williams. So just saying. I hate it for the Lakers losing to the Heat, but the Heat aren't that bad.
So. I mean, the Heat's got a great coach, but I want to go back to that. I don't want people to sit here and think that that was LeBron crying or LeBron white. LeBron took it like he would, like, hey, it's basketball. Yeah. Things happen. Let's move on and get to the next game. It was the ownership group. It was the people behind the scenes that went to the NBA about the calls. And, I mean, like you said, there were several things there that was missed, and it felt like everything – like, I'm all for, let them play. Like, don't call all the ticky-tack stuff, but if you're going to call it one way, call it the other way for the same – like, call it the same way for both teams. And it felt like it was a little one-sided. And like you said, the Lakers end up losing by 1. You take away one of those tees or you take away a couple of those fouls that they didn't call or you give them a call, it might be a different game.
Yeah, overall, it's still a good game. I mean, if you're losing by technical fouls or fouls, that means you're already losing anyway. So, a loss is a loss. So take it off the chin and move on to the next one.
Yeah. Let's just get this fixed for the.
Wake up, man! Come on.
Yeah, hey, I'm awake, man. Let's get this. Let's get this fixed though with the refereeing though before playoffs, before games really start mattering. But while we're on talking about the Heat, Udonis Haslem, who played for the Heat for like his entire life, like 20 plus years, they named him VP of basketball player development. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I didn't realize too in the last 20 years. I mean, I'm not a Heat fan, so I don't really keep up with him that much. But when I was doing my research, I found out that he was the captain for the last 16 years of his 20-year career, which is really impressive. Also, too, he's the all-time franchise leader of rebounds for the Heat.
Yeah, I mean, Haslem did pretty well there, and he just kept playing.
Yeah, if you're ever wondering what does a VP do, I looked it up because I was curious on the duties of a VP of a National Basketball Association team. They work with the coaching staff, obviously, mentoring both Heat players and those assigned to the team's G League affiliate in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and representing the organization in the community.
I think that's
that is what you do as the VP of the Miami Heat. In case anyone here listening wants to be a VP,
development.
Well, that's for that that specific team is Sioux Falls in South Dakota.
Well, that's absolutely ridiculous that the Miami Heat are in Miami and their G League affiliate is in South Dakota. That's ridiculous. But, I mean, a good role for Haslem. He's like Ron Washington.
Super knowledgeable.
He's seen it all. He's been on really good Heat teams. He's been on really bad Heat teams. He's seen good players come through. He's been there with LeBron, D-Wade, Chris Bosh, Ray Allen. He's been there with young team. Great role for him. He'll do really well.
Should have been there with Shaq, too, right?
Oh, yeah. He was there with Shaq. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. He was there with all of them. He was there with all of it. Yeah.
He got drafted, 05? Something like that. No, it was actually before then because he'd been 20 years. So
yeah.
Wow.
03.
Yeah. It's crazy.
I might be wrong. I could be completely wrong on this. I don't think he was drafted.
Well, that 03 class would have been like Carmelo and all them, right?
Yeah.
So, wow. What a class.
What a class. And again, we'll keep on with the NBA. Adam Silver says he takes responsibility for the past All-Star games being pretty much absolutely boring with no effort to the players. How does that make you feel? You think it's good the commissioner steps up and takes blame for it, or is it his place to take the blame?
No, I think it is his place to take the blame. I mean, you are the commissioner of basketball. This came after talking to Chris Paul, 13-time All-Star, Silver said they are sending mixed signals on how they want the game to be played, which is very true because you have these huge introductions. The players can't go through their actual warm-ups like they would for an actual game. They want entertainment. They don't necessarily want that. They want 160 points put up by both teams, and then somebody shooting a three from half court to win the game. Yeah. They just want entertainment, and that's just kind of pushed the actual sports fans, yourself and myself, away from watching the All-Star game just because it's so boring. No defense. So no physicality, nothing like that. So I'd like to see some more actual basketball in these games. Like, let's see you put your best efforts. Like, you're an all-star, play like an all-star.
I mean, I get it though from the perspective of you don't want to get hurt. You don't want LeBron. You don't want Zion. You don't want any of these star players to get hurt in the middle of the season. So it is kind of hard to say, hey, go out there and give me everything you got. And then some people say, well, let's move the All-Star game to the end of the year. Okay, that's cool. But look at the NFL. Theirs has always been at the end of the year, and it was absolutely a snooze fest too. The best All-Star games, I mean, I don't know how you up the effort in the middle of the season. I mean, you look at the MLB and the NHL, the MLB All-Star game is always fun to watch. Granted, are they putting up 100% of their effort? No, but they're still playing really well. The pitchers are giving everything they got for that inning they pitch. The batters are still trying to hit it out.
Baseball's a little different.
It is. And the thing is, too, like hockey, like I've watched their All-Star game and I watched some highlights today. Like, I was trying to get some comparison. Hockey, they go full force in it. I mean, you see them. I mean, they don't try to go down the ice and put a shoulder in somebody's chin or anything, but you can tell they're putting in a little more effort than you see in the NBA and the NFL. So, I mean,
it's just lackluster, like no defense at all, like standing 10 feet off the shooter.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
stuff like that.
I mean, they're just
like at least give some effort, and I think that's what he's meaning. Like, you want to see a little bit of effort. And for those two that are wanting to watch this game, it will be held at Indiana Pacers Stadium this year, which is Gainbridge Fieldhouse on February 18th. That's when that game will be. So if you're interested in the All-Star game, Adam Silver says it's going to be better this year. It's going to be more physical, more defense. Not as much of a halftime show, not as much as a pregame show. We'll see. We know this is the entertainment business. We'll see what happens with Adam Silver's take.
Here's my thing. Last year was probably the best dunk contest we've had in many years.
Matt McClung.
But since then, I mean, but other than McClung and that, the rest of those dunk contests was boring. Like, give me LeBron. Like, put something where I can see somebody like LeBron and Zion and some of these big guys come in that. Like, nothing against Matt
like
McClung.
Like the Dwight Howard days,
Yeah, nothing against McClung. But there's no sense in a G League player should have been in that dunk contest when you had.
He'll be back. He'll be back this year because he
defending
brought
champion.
The height. Yeah, he brought the height to the dunk contest.
Yeah, but I think the NBA just needs to figure out. Just get All-Star Week back how it used to be, like in the early 2000s when you were kids. Like, it was awesome for All-Star Break.
Even like the challenges, like this is passing and 3-point shootout. Yeah, all of that, man. They actually had like great All-Stars in all those.
You did. But while we're talking about All-Stars, let's talk about one right now that is having probably the best career start to his entire career. Best season start to his entire career. That's Steph Curry. Dude, he is absolutely going off for Golden State. What's your feelings on Steph Curry?
You know how I feel about Steph. I'm not a fan. Just keep chomping on that mouth guard, Steph. Freaking drives me insane. He's good. He's averaging 30.9 points per game, 4.8 rebounds, 4.3 assists, and shooting over 50%, 53% exactly from the field. So he's definitely good. This is his best season start in his career. You ask if he's MVP worthy? No. He's top 5, but he's not going to win the MVP. It's going to be a repeat this year with Jokic. He's averaging 28.4 points per game, 12.9 rebounds, 8.4 assists, and 63.3% from the field. Hard to beat a 7-footer with those type of numbers. And with Jokic, he's going to bring it back again. Probably he's going to keep these numbers consistent throughout the entire year. He did last year. He's going to do it again this year. And I'll look for a repeat with him over Steph, in my opinion.
I like that take. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Curry either. I mean, I miss the Curry that came out of Davidson. That didn't
absolutely humble.
That was very humble. But I mean, kid's good. He can shoot from anywhere. He's very intelligent with the basketball. And as much as me and you probably don't really care for him, I always I coach helping coach basketball and stuff this year. So I like asking the kids that are playing, like, who's your favorite player?
Oh, I'm sure Steph Curry.
All of them, Steph Curry. Like there's
Oh, man,
all.
he's good. He's great. I mean, he's in the NBA. I mean, but he's one. He probably is. As bad as I hate to admit this, he probably is the best point guard in the league.
He's the greatest 3-point shooter of all time.
Yeah, I mean, so don't get me wrong. I mean, the guy's definitely he's going to be in the MVP talks. It just depends on how far Golden State goes. Honestly, in my opinion, can he lead the team to championship? Can he lead the team to the West Finals?
If Curry can stay healthy and keep shooting the way he is and doing the things he do, the rest of that team's going to start coming together again. Do I think they're the best team? No. Is Curry probably right now MVP favorite? Like tonight, I would say he's up there with Jokic. I think
he's top five.
They're neck and neck. I say 1-2 right now for the Western Conference MVP. But like you said, Curry, he's doing things, and
Curry's always up there, though. I mean, especially these last 6 years, or probably 7 years. Honestly, he's consistent.
The big thing with him is this year is he's got to stay healthy. These last 2 years, he has not stayed healthy. He stays healthy. Yeah. I don't know. It could be interesting. But let's move on to talk about another. Let's go from a veteran who's won some championships, somebody who's just now getting their feet wet, who said Madison Square Garden wasn't that impressive. He thought it would be bigger. Wemby. Is he the best rookie we've seen in the last, 10 years, man?
Now, if you're going 10 years, I mean, you got to think who's been in the league.
That's why I said 10 years.
Yeah, that's a bold statement. No, I don't think he's the best rookie in the past 10. You got to look at Luka. Luka's incredible what he's doing, on his team. I mean, they're really good this year. They should make a run at the West. So now I'm going to go with Luka on that one. Is he the best rookie in the past 10? Also, too, you got to look at.
You want to say Jason Tatum?
Jason Tatum, that was another one I was getting ready to say. So you got to look at him. I'm pretty sure Giannis was drafted too in 2013 or 2014, if I'm not mistaken. So he's up there too. Wemby's it's too early to tell. I know he did have a 36-point game, right? 37, something like that.
Yeah.
He's definitely good, but you also got to look at Chet Holmgren.
He's doing
who's
good
not
too.
Far behind on his numbers for a rookie as well.
And
that's an interesting. That's an interesting race between those two. For viewers, if you're wanting to keep up with two rookies, that's two I'd keep my eye on.
It's definitely the best rookie battle I guess the NBA's had in many years. He's usually just that one rookie who's really good. I mean, last year you had a couple of good ones, but speaking of Wemby, played tonight. They lost to the Knicks 126-105. That just went final. Wemby had 14 points, 2 assists, 9 rebounds. And
Knicks back-to-back wins.
1 block, yep.
Carmelo was in the MSG tonight.
Love me some Melo. I don't know. I don't know. I think Wemby, the position he's playing and the team he's got around him and what he's doing early, I definitely think he's one of the top 5 best rookies we've seen in the NBA in the last 10 years, for sure. And if he can stay healthy with that size and that speed and that ball handling he's got, he's going to be a stud. He's going to be an absolute superstar in the NBA.
He's good. He will be good. Don't get me wrong. If he stays healthy, he's got to put on a little bit of size, which naturally.
Yeah.
Look what, how long it took Kevin Durant to put on a little bit of size, and some of these other guys still putting on size. So, if he can put on a little bit of size, watch out. He could be dangerous. He is already dangerous, but still, though, in my opinion, Luka, Giannis, and Jason Tatum are still superior, and that's only because we've seen these guys play in the league. I mean, I don't have the rookie numbers pulled up, but if we compared, I mean, he might be better on paper his rookie year. So
I think right now he's ahead of Kevin Durant's rookie year, on pace right now. He's ahead of him in field goal percentage, points, rebounds, stuff like that.
KD's pretty good at basketball, so that's good. That's good company.
Yeah. But before we move on from the NBA and all that, I want to run through some scores real quick. I just want to talk about the finals that have happened so far. The Nets beat the Clippers tonight. And apparently they chanted the Nets.
Clippers lost 2 in a row since Harden. Just saying.
They chanted the owner's name of the Phillies, the one that Harden said he'd never speak to.
Yeah.
Every time he touched the ball, they chanted his name. 76ers beat the Celtics 106-103.
Wait. What was that?
The 76ers beat the Celtics.
Celtics back-to-back losses.
106-103. Pacers won 134-118 over the Jazz. The Wizards beat the Hornets 132-116. God, the NBA scoring high.
Yeah, no defense.
And then, like I said, the Knicks beat the Spurs 126-105. And looks like the Thunder are going to beat the Cavs. Timberwolves are going to destroy the Pelicans. Pistons are going to beat the Bucks. and the Rockets are
Wow.
absolutely destroying the Lakers right now, 99-71.
Jeez, basketball's weird.
Yeah.
Super early. Super early.
Yep. But that's it I got for the NBA, man. Unless there's something else you want to roll in there that you want to say or speak of. Just
And I
for
don't I don't
sake.
have any takes or anything right now. I mean, I know we've went over who we're projecting to win the NBA championship this year. I would like to cover that again, probably within the next couple weeks on the pod, just to see if anything's changed. Since we are super early into the season, last year I think the Lakers start off 31 and like terrible. I can't remember what it was, but it was awful. They made it. They made a
Right.
run all the way to the Western Coast Finals. So basketball's awesome. I love seeing it.
Hey, before we,
I think this tourney too is going to play a big factor in that too.
It'll be interesting. Before we get out of basketball completely, how about JMU basketball upsetting Michigan?
College basketball, yeah.
I know it really wasn't there, but I mean JMU
Yeah,
basketball upset Michigan State, and the cool thing about that is Tom Izzo's nephew is the head coach at JMU.
Oh man, that sucks.
Yeah.
Nephew beat you in basketball. Golly,
but
that'd be like Jacob or Ethan beat me. I can't have that.
And we're going to talk about JMU. We got some stuff to talk about JMU here in a minute. It would be like Jacob and Ethan beating you.
Yeah, I couldn't handle that. No, man, that's crazy.
It's early.
I talked about the benefit game with Michigan State and Tennessee last week. Tennessee ended up winning that game by 1 point, so now that kind of hurts my pride a little bit because I thought, oh man, we beat Michigan State, we're going to be good this year in Tennessee basketball. For those listening, if you haven't listened in, I'm a huge Tennessee Vols fan, obviously behind my head. But yeah, I thought for sure that means Tennessee's going to be incredible. Michigan State's ranked 4th coming into the season this year, and then Michigan State drops a goose egg to JMU. Not even a close game, really. I mean, JMU had that one pretty well secured. So, first game of the season, it happens.
It does.
It's the first big upset, definitely. So,
before another one, let's keep it into college basketball, just because. And I don't mean this in a bad way, but I was happy to kind of see this happen. LSU women's basketball losing to Colorado.
Big.
After all day long, you've seen on ESPN, social media, where they're talking about the contract, but they were talking about how LSU, this is the best women's college basketball team they've ever seen. They brought it back, Angela Reese. They can't be beat, and they got absolutely just
whooped. It was 90-78 or something like that, 91-78. Yeah, I saw that. I was laughing pretty hard after she signed that NIL deal for 1.8. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah, 1.8 million.
And got beat by a bunch. I was reading.
Well, Colorado, in their defense, they are ranked 20th, so they're no slouch. But yeah, LSU, according to ESPN and everywhere else that we've read, CBS Sports. I mean, they were like Hess saying, like UConn, 10 years ago, like where UConn won like 5 seasons in a row without losing a game. It's supposed to be this LSU team. So good to see. Love to see it.
Yeah, I did too. But I think that's all I got for basketball, unless there's something else you want to talk about on either side of that. No. All right, well, let's move on to let's move back into the MLB. I know we talked about it at the beginning. Let's talk about another coaching hire that kind of caught the MLB world. Like they kind of got shocked by it. Like it was kind of out of nowhere. There were rumors and rumblings that Craig Counsell was wanting out of the Brewers, but the Brewers obviously didn't want to let him go. And then I think I was texting you that day, and it was right around lunchtime. It was like Craig Counsell's leaving. It was right after your all's bench coach, the Yankees bench coach, whatever his name was, got hired by the Mets. Came out that Counsell was leaving the Brewers to go to a team that already has a manager. And there were rumors. It was like, oh, it's going to be the Yankees. It's going to be the Yankees. And then, bam.
I'd been fine with that.
Yeah. And then it was the Cubs. And Craig Counsell is now the highest paid manager in baseball history. And he is the 4th highest paid manager in sports right now as a head coach. Wow. He's behind Kirby Smart, Nick Saban, and there's somebody else, and then him, and then the LA Kings hockey coach.
Wow. Impressive, man.
And he said, before you go on, he also said during the thing he wanted to make sure that the world and people notice that MLB coaches are important and that he wanted to change the narrative of how much they get paid. And in retrospect, Ozzie Albies has a 7-year, $85 million contract. This dude just signed 4 years, $80 million. They'll be a coach.
5 years, 40.
40.
Yeah. 5 year, 40. Yeah, so he's the highest paid manager, 5 years, $40 million. Said he wanted a new challenge. Same division. So
he's gonna be booed when he goes to Milwaukee.
Yeah, I think he has it definitely with the Cubs. He's definitely got a challenge. I know the Cubs won 83 games this year. They're going to be sneaky next year. I really like Swanson on that team. They didn't have a terrible year. 83 wins, nothing. Hold your head down. They did miss playoffs barely.
Well, you take away the ball that the right fielder dropped in the Braves game. The guy dropped it. If he hadn't have dropped that ball and catches that, the Cubs win that game. They make the playoffs. The Diamondbacks don't make the playoffs, and the Diamondbacks never make it to the World Series. So, I mean, the Cubs were there. They just
Yeah, they were
an
they were
error
there.
cost them their season.
Yeah, it happens, man. Again, 83 wins, nothing to hold your head down about. I do look for the Cubs to improve this offseason. I know we're going to go over some trades here in a minute. With baseball, can't blame Craig, though, man. He doubled his salary
Oh, yeah.
for coaching baseball. I mean, he's doing the same thing just for a different organization. The Cubs, legendary organization, Wrigley Field, place that me and you have on our bucket list to go to. I can't blame the guy. I mean, I think he's definitely got a challenge in front of him. The Cubs is a very strong fan base. They like to win World Series. The last one was in 2016. But yeah, they like to see their team do well. And this past year, they've been building since that 2016. I know they cleaned house since then, but they've been building these past couple of years. And I really do think next year could be a special year for the Cubs. I think we might see him back in the playoff race.
Yeah, I agree. And I kind of hate it, though, in a way. I mean, I think it's a great hire. Greg Counsell's a great coach. He's proven it. But I hate it for David Ross. David Ross did nothing wrong. He's done nothing but handle that rebuild, and he was there when they had the players, and then he went through the rebuild and kept them competitive. The Cubs never fell off. I mean, they were a mid-pack team. I've been hearing rumble.
Who did David Ross coach for before? Was it the Cardinals?
He didn't coach for anybody. He came straight out of retirement. He retired as the catcher for the Braves, and then went straight into managing. But he caught for the Cubs, the Dodgers, the Braves. He caught for everybody.
Gotcha. I thought for some reason he was on the Cardinals.
I did read today that the Padres are thinking about interviewing him for their head coaching position because Bob Melvin left them. But I don't know if anybody wants to go to the Padres now. Because I was reading today, they took a $50 million loan out to pay their payroll because they paid the players too much money, and they expected to make the playoffs, and you get a playoff incentive, but they didn't make the playoffs, so they haven't had enough money to actually fill out payroll. So they had to take out a $50 million loan. And that's why there's talks that they may try to get rid of Soto and try to cut some cap. But I think we'll also end up somewhere. He's a great coach. And in a way, I kind of think the Cubs did him dirty because apparently they just called him in and said, hey, we're doing this. And I don't know. But, I mean, it's a business. At the end of the day, it's a business. While we're talking about coaching today, I was reading down through it. Cashman came out and said the Yankees are keeping Boone. Obviously, and Steinbrenner said that they had consulted the players about if they thought Boone should be back as manager or not. And evidently, the players are all for Boone. I don't know. I mean, I'm not there. I'm not in that dugout. I'm not in that clubhouse. But
did you read who he talked to though?
I didn't read the players he talked to.
So he consulted with Andy Pettitte and Nick Swisher, along with Aaron Judge. And a pair of formal general managers is what I read.
Well, if that's
so Aaron Judge is the only. I mean, he's the captain and everything.
In that situation, they probably use Judge. Judge is the captain, and they probably use Judge to talk to. He spoke on behalf of the current team, so I get that. You don't have time to speak to everybody.
Steinbrenner did say 82 wins is unacceptable, even if it is a winning season as New York, obviously. So big changes heading towards New York is what he said. His words, he don't care to go over that luxury tax this year.
Was it him or Cashman that said that you don't need a $300 million payroll to be a winning team? I read that today.
Probably Steinbrenner, probably.
I think it was one of them because they were slamming the whole Judge contract, saying they paid him all that money, and then look where it got them. And then they were talking about the Rangers.
Not his fault.
They were talking about the Rangers and the Diamondbacks making the playoffs through the Rangers. Apparently, their payroll this year was only like $280 million.
And Rangers did it smart, man. They built pitching, have got great hitting, great bullpen, just very smart.
And I was reading that the Yankees are not afraid to get rid of some people to get rid of cap. They're kind of going to do what the Padres do. And I think during the winter meetings, you may see some big moves and some shocking things come out of the Yankees. But
yeah, first good thing that I've seen from the Yankees, since we're on the Yankees topic, and I'm a huge Yankees fan, Sean Casey is going to remain the hitting coach or taking over as hitting coach. So I think that's going to improve because I think the Yankees were 27th last year in average of 220. I think they had a 223 or 225, something like that, batting average. So absolutely horrid. So hopefully that helps a little bit.
Well, I mean, you think about last year's Yankee season. That was supposed to be the year. Y'all were supposed to make a run in the AL. Maybe not World Series, but y'all were supposed to be there in the playoffs, and
Well, they
you
would
didn't.
have if they stayed healthy. They were fine
I
midseason.
mean,
They were in a great place.
yeah, yes and no. I mean, I think a lot of it. Rendon hurt, not having him most of the year, losing Judge hurt. But I mean,
Huge.
if you
Losing
look,
Judge was huge.
but I
And then
mean, you
losing
look.
Rizzo and
But
constant.
at the end of the day, though, I mean, you should with the New York Yankees, they should have enough players in place that if Judge ain't going to play for a month, y'all should still be winning baseball games. And that's
Oh
where
no, I
the
agree. It's
that's where
not
the Yankees
acceptable.
that's where the Yankees have gotten. They've got to where it's like one or two players. I mean, Cole, Judge, and then Volpe, he's turned into a big one, and the alien Dominguez.
Which he's hurt, so he
Yeah,
won't be back till All Star break next year.
yeah. So,
I
but
don't
I
know.
mean, we'll see.
We'll get
I think it's gonna be
we'll get
interesting
into
to win. I
these
mean,
trades here in a minute. I want to go through them.
yeah, but that's what we're going to move into next. Free agency's in full swing right now, and we're going to go over the top 7 free agents that are out there right now, and where we think they might land, and why we think they'll end up there in our place. Granted, we have no idea. We don't have that kind of information, insider information, to figure out where they're leaning.
I
But
wish.
but I have a good feeling on a couple of these that I can actually nail some of these. But we'll see. You want to start off? Or you want me to start off?
I'll let you kick it off.
All
Who you got? Who you got first
right,
on this list?
the number one. I mean, everybody's wanting to know Shohei Ohtani. Where does Ohtani go? And I've thought about this one a lot today, and then it hit me about lunch today. I'm like, I know exactly where he's going. I was even telling, because Braxton was asking me about this evening. So was Krista. Where does Shohei Ohtani go? And I 100% believe Shohei Ohtani ends up with the Chicago Cubs.
Chicago Cubs.
Because before he signed with the Angels, he was on his way to sign to Chicago, and he talked to his family, and they wanted him to be a little closer, so he decided to sign with the Angels. And the Cubs are proving they're throwing this money out at Craig Counsell. They're getting a top manager. They're a couple pieces away. You bring Otani's bat in there. Granted, they're going to lose Cody Bellinger. I know we're going to talk about Cody Bellinger. I know Cody Bellinger's probably not coming back there, but they've got players in place. They've got Dansby. You bring Ohtani in, whether he's able to pitch or not, you still got that bat. They're going to be able to build around it, and they have the money to get Ohtani, because Ohtani's not going after the money. He's already said that. He wants to go for a winning culture. He wants to go to a team that's going to win. What's more traditional than the Chicago Cubs playing in Wrigley Field and Wrigley Field, and then if Ohtani gets there and they start winning World Series, that dude's going to have a statue up of himself. So I think it'll be the Chicago Cubs.
Love the take. I got the Cubs in a close second place in that bid. That's who I had wrote down. Obviously, all that comes down on Bellinger and Stroman. Like you said, I think both those guys are going to leave. They did go after Craig Counsell. They got Craig Counsell. Also made me think about the Cubs even more. We need to see what happens with those other two guys first to kind of clear up some cap space. But Ohtani, honestly, the best fit right off the bat and quick. Because money does talk. I know he can say, it's not about the money, but when you have a close to $500 million contract sitting in front of you, it'd be hard to kind of walk away from. And this organization probably can win a World Series because they have every other piece. They were there again this year. You can know where I'm going. We're going to stay on the West Coast. I'm going with the LA Dodgers. They have the cap space. They can do it. They already have all the big names. They have the pitching.
I look at it too, Ohtani, like again, the whole money situation. The dude's got money. He's got money back in Japan, back at home. He don't need these big MLB contracts. And he's stated that time and time again that he does not want to go somewhere where they're just throwing dollar bills at him. Because if you're throwing dollar bills at him, you're not building a team around him. And
the Dodgers have the team already.
All right, but the Dodgers got a lot. They've already cut ties with Max Muncy. They did not accept the Clayton Kershaw's option, which granted Kershaw's at the end of his career.
I wouldn't either. Yeah.
Okay, you play Ohtani. He DHs, so then who's they got JD Martinez. They may lose JD Martinez. Freeman. Well, Freeman's your first baseman.
Mookie Betts.
Yeah, okay.
They still got all-stars all the way around.
I don't see him going. I don't see him going from one LA to the other.
He might.
He might. I like it though.
Dodgers or Cubs. That's my top two.
I got them on the fourth. I got them fourth. If you want to give me another one, I think it'll be the.
I got a sleeper team for you.
I got the Mets.
Rangers.
The Rangers might, but they'd have to sacrifice a lot. They'd definitely have to be out of the bidding war for Jordan Montgomery. They'd have to restructure Corey Seager's contract, and they would have to redo Marcus Simeon's contract.
Yeah, but it can be done.
Could be, but
which is scary.
It could, but
honestly, though, I think if you bring in a big name like that Ohtani somewhere, it ruins it.
Well,
I could be wrong.
I look at Ohtani differently though, because I mean, we've watched him play in person.
Oh yeah,
and he's not. He don't want the limelight and all that fame. The guy just wants to play
ball.
Yeah, and I think he's the perfect superstar to bring into any franchise, no matter where it's at, because nothing's too big for him. He's just out there having fun on the baseball field. He feels like a little leaguer playing baseball. That's all he cares about. And I think that's one of the guys that you can bring into any franchise, no matter who the superstars are, and he fits in because, hey, I'm just here to play baseball. So I think he goes to the Cubs. You think Dodgers. I think Mets is the number 2 team that kind of gets after him. But we'll see. I think a lot's in the air there, but I do think it'll be the Cubs.
November 8th, 2023, folks. You heard it here. So we'll see
That's right.
See if either one of us got that one.
All right, man. Let's move on to the number 2. Another guy coming out of Japan.
Pronounce this name.
That is Yoshi Inubua and Yoamato. Yoamato. He's a starting.
I was going to say Yoshi off of Mario, and your mama said so. That's what his last name's going to be.
Yamnamanoto. Mato. That's what we're going.
Well,
Mato.
Let me just give my pick. If this happens, I'm going to have to learn this guy's name. I think he might come to the Yankees. I do think he's looking at New York. My second pick on that would be the Mets. So I think he's going Mets or Yankees. I don't know who's going to get him. I do think he's coming to the Big Apple, though. So we'll see what happens.
I got Yankees on that one as well. He wants the big market.
Need pitch him.
He wants the big market. He wants to be that guy, and he's been that guy. He threw 2 no-hitters last year. He's a back-to-back Cy Young Award winner over there. He's won the World Series. He was an absolute stud in the World Baseball Classic for Japan. I think he went at least 7 to 8 innings in every outing he had in the World Baseball Classic this past year. He'll be a great fit with New York. They've had some success with some Japanese players before.
Tanaka.
Then you go back to even Hideki Matsui. They've had some really good Japanese players come through there. And I think Tanaka, his agent is the same one representing him in this ordeal. So I do think it'll be the Yankees. Another one that I'm going to throw out there, I think the Houston Astros may try to. But I think it's a stretch. I think this is a big sale for I think this is all Yankees. If the Yankees don't get him, then I don't know. I think that's a loss on the Yankees.
Yeah, yes and no, because there is some other pitchers that we're getting ready to go over that the Yankees could take a swing at. And I'll get into that too, why I think certain ones might fit the Yankees just as good. I do think, again, I'm not going to try to pronounce his name, Yoshi here, should come to New York. I think he'll do great. I think he'll be just like Tanaka. Tanaka, I think his first year won 14 games with the Yankees. After that, he was just kind of middle of the pack, but he was always a solid pitcher. And I actually watched him pitch, and he's actually really good.
I'll say this about this dude. I know a lot of people, they frown upon these Japanese players that come over and they're really good, and then they get over here and they're still good, but they're not like what you would think. I think this guy comes in. I think he's automatically put him in the Cy Young favorite. So you put him in your all's rotation with Cole, and then if Rendon comes back and he's healthy, y'all got one of the top rotations in Major League Baseball, and this guy might be your best pitcher.
You're also forgetting about Nestor Cortez if he's healthy.
He's just got a mustache that makes him look good.
Nasty Nestor. Don't hate on the guy. Love Nasty Nestor. Next up, Cody Bellinger. Where do you got Mr. Bellinger going?
Yankees.
I got him going to Yankees too. We need a hitter. And he's obviously, I think he's on the way out on the Cubs. We tried to get him before the Cubs. If you remember, if you go back a couple years, last year, year before last, I can't remember how long his contract was. We tried getting Cody Bellinger. The Cubs ended up swooping him up last minute. So I look for Bellinger to come to the Yankees as well. We need another hitter. I think that would be a solid hitter in New York.
If he don't go there, he goes to Philadelphia.
Ooh, I could see that.
Because there's some drama there. Well, I brought up Philly. I brought Philly today. Saying today they told Reese Hoskins that Bryce Harper is exclusively playing first base, and that he needs to kind of be planning on either changing positions or finding a new team. So, because
come home, baby. Come on.
Reese Hoskins would be I was thinking about that. He'd be a great first baseman DH for you all.
Yeah.
It would definitely be an upgrade over Rizzo.
Well, Rizzo's at the end of his career.
But Hoskins is coming off the ACL tear, so yeah.
Yeah, we do need another first baseman just in case.
But that's Bellinger. We're both thinking Yankees on Bellinger. I just think, granted, he was trash with the Dodgers those last 2 years, and then went to Chicago. He's really upped his game. He went from hitting a 176 with the Dodgers to hitting almost 300 this year. Played really well, so I think he'd definitely be a Yankee. Let's move on to the number 4 free agent that a lot of people are talking about, and I did see today the Phillies have said they are out. They are not going to re-sign or bring back Aaron Nola. So Aaron Nola, where do you got Nola going? LSU grad.
So all depends on what happens with Yoshi up there. If he don't come to the Big Apple, I got Aaron Nola coming to the Yankees. We have to have that. We have to have one more pitcher. So I don't know who it's going to be. Because we're losing Luis Severino. They're not bringing him back this year. They're going to cut his contract. They already cut Herman. He's not allowed back on the Yankees. The big question for the Yankees right now is Frankie Montas. Are we going to re-sign Frankie? He didn't even pitch for us this year. Anytime we take a pitcher from the Athletics, I don't know when they're going to realize this. They just do terrible for us. We took Sonny Gray from the Athletics a couple years back. He was absolute garbage for New York. Goes out, look what he does with the Twins this year. Now he's in the Cy Young talk.
That's another free agent.
Yeah, so Sonny Gray is going to be up for grabs. Hopefully they don't try that again. It did not work in the Big Apple. Certain players cannot pitch in New York. It just doesn't work out. I don't know what it is. So.
You got to be careful with New York because you all play in a hitter stadium. Your y'all's stadium is not a pitcher-friendly stadium. So if you got a pitcher who is big on getting the outs by allowing contact, it kind of bites them in the butt. You all need those strikeout pitchers.
Jarrett Cole. Need another Jarrett Cole, baby. But they don't make them like that every day. So I do like Aaron Nola. He was great in the playoffs. I'm really surprised Philly's out on that. I really am.
Well, I think he goes to either one or two National League teams. I think right now the favorite for him is the Atlanta Braves. The Braves really need pitching rotation. They really need to add another pitcher. They decided to accept Charlie Morton's $20 million qualifying offer, which kind of surprised me. They bring Morton back.
How old is Morton?
42.
God.
Yeah.
Wow, $20 million.
Yeah. Bring Morton back.
That's probably their worst move they've made. Honestly.
It was already in the it's washed. It's back ended. It's not much of. He's already got it.
I got you.
The other thing the Braves, they got Max Fried. They need to sign him to an extension because he's either out this year or whatever. But anyway, they bring in Nola. You got Max Fried, Aaron Nola, Spencer Strider, and Charlie Morton. And then one of the other young pitchers the Braves throw out there, you got Bryce Elder, who made the All-Star game. They're instantly the best pitching rotation in the National League just by adding Nola. He's beat the Braves every year. The Braves are going. Anthopoulos has stated they're going after pitching, and there's a lot of pitching out there free agency. And
I don't need hitting.
And there's already talks that Nola is looking at going to Atlanta. I think he's from Atlanta or he's from that area. He's from Georgia. So, but the other team I think that could be going for him because they're going to lose. They could lose a pitcher, and if they do bring him back, he's still not who he was. The Dodgers. I think I could see Aaron Nola going out west and pitching for the Dodgers. It looks like a perfect fit for him. I could just see him in the Dodgers blue, and it would just make me not like him even more. So, but I think it'll be the Braves or the Dodgers.
If Nola comes to the Braves, are you Aaron Nola fan?
I mean, he's part of my team. I got to be.
I like it. Dude's good. Chugging him, dangerous.
And I did see yesterday they put out the World Series odds the way too early. The Braves are the favorite for the World Series.
Dodgers second.
Yep. So we'll
Plus
see.
700.
Yep. But let's move on to
look at us talking sports.
Look at sports.
Look at us.
Look at this. Here's another one that a guy that came in this year and absolutely just blew up. Was really good with the Athletics and then just faded off the planet and then blew up this year. Matt Chapman. We got Matt Chapman going. Third baseman, power hitter, great glove. Hit almost 300 this year.
Giants. He's going to San Francisco. That's where he grew up. The Giants need that big hitter. They tried going after Aaron Judge last year. Didn't get him. Didn't really sign anybody too big out there. So I look for him to go to the Giants, San Francisco.
I like that.
Yeah.
I didn't think about the Giants, but I do like that one. But I have two, and I think it's a coin toss with these two. I think it's either Milwaukee Brewers or the New York Yankees. No,
Honestly, I don't know if he'll come to the Yankees. I mean, we did. I'd love to have his bat. The dude
you
can
need a third baseman.
hit the crap out of him. We do need a third baseman. We don't really have one. We have a utility player playing third.
Yeah, and he's
you know,
an everyday player. He don't miss games either.
yeah, IKF's playing third right now, and then
I
they
do
rotate
think
out, in and out.
I do think Milwaukee though is a little bit ahead of that, but I could see the Yankees. I mean, that's a good bat, middle of the bat for y'all. Put him in there ahead of Judge, and man,
Maybe. I don't know. Chapman,
I mean,
I don't know.
y'all got the money to do it. Y'all could go out and get Yoshi and
They
then
could
go
do.
get Chapman.
They could do multiple one of these, which is scary. Which is what Steinbrenner said they was going to do. He didn't care this year.
Yeah.
I think if the Yankees don't make playoffs, I've already said this. If Yankees are barely above 500 midseason, Boone's gone next year. It's no questions asked. I mean, it's a win or lose season next year for the Yankees.
I'll go out as far as this. If y'all,
I'm not trying to get off topic.
injuries aside, I mean, if you have the same injuries again, which I hope you don't, but let's just say you do.
That's terrible.
Even if the injuries are the reason y'all are terrible, by All-Star break, Boone's gone if y'all repeat what you did last year.
Absolutely. Yeah. No doubt.
But anyway, let's not get too far off topic here. Let's go on.
Yeah.
Blake Snell had an absolute – he's probably going to win the Cy Young in the National League this year.
Should.
Padres ain't bringing him back. They have to get rid of some cap. They're broke out there. They got too much money. Blake Snell, where do you got him going?
Rangers,
I like that. I think the Rangers or the Tampa Bay Rays. I think he goes back to Tampa Bay.
Rangers are going to get a pitcher because the next player, I was going to get into him, Jordan Montgomery, is probably not coming back there, so they're going to need another pitcher. So Snell fits in perfect, left-handed, absolutely nasty with the Padres. He was nasty with Tampa Bay, just a great pitcher. So, they're going to have to do something. They're either going to get, another big pitcher. I don't know if they're going to re-sign Jordan Montgomery. I don't know if that's been released yet or not. I don't see them re-signing him. I do look for Snell to go to the Rangers. Be a good fit, be a good rotation. Since I just mentioned him, Jordan Montgomery, I look for him to go to the Mets or bold take here, Boston Red Sox.
I was going to say the Red Sox
too. Yeah, they need a pitcher too. So I think he's coming north again, and I think we might face him. I'm a huge Yankees fan, so when we play Boston, I think we might be seeing Mr. Montgomery again.
When it comes to Snell, I think there's three teams there. And again, I'm going to put the Braves in there, but I put them as a third team because the Braves are going after pitching. I like the Rangers in that. And I also like to see him possibly, like I said, go back to Tampa Bay because that's where he started. And Tampa Bay, they need another pitcher. And he probably he's not going to need a lot of money to get Blake Snell. He's just going to go somewhere where he can be a winner. And I watched him pitch this year in person when I went and watched the Padres and the Phillies. The dude's got he's good.
Yeah, he's good.
But Jordan Montgomery, you already went in on him. I think the Red Sox are a team that could be going for him. Obviously, the Braves again, but again, they're like third on it. I think that depends on what happens with Nola. Nola is the big domino here because, excuse me, Yoshi, he's going to sign with the Yankees or somebody. He's really not a domino here, but Nola's the big domino that falls for the pitchers. Wherever he goes, then that's how the rest are going to fall. But I also look for Jordan Montgomery to be a Baltimore Oriole.
Ooh, yeah.
So
that'd suck for me.
Either way, if he goes to Boston.
He's just a consistent pitcher. Like that's, he'll give you 6 innings every time he's out there normally, and maybe 2 to 3 runs, but excellent. He was excellent for the Rangers.
Yeah, he was.
And the Cardinals.
Yeah, he was. He was good ever since when he left New York.
And New York. He was good in New York.
He did good, but he fell off, and that was where y'all moved on, bro.
He had a couple bad games, but overall he was solid. We did go after Harrison Bader, which we needed the bat. He did excellent in the playoffs that year, so it worked out good. And then we traded Bader this year, so it looks like a bad trade, but at the time, it was healthy. It was needed. We needed a center fielder. So
all right, man. Now that we
curious.
Went over all these some of these free agents. There's many more out there. That's the ones that are kind of the big names. Way too early, way out there. Right now, today, November 8th, November 9th. Who do you got as your World Series favorites? Who's your NL favorite? Who's your AL favorite?
NL favorite, I'm going to go with Atlanta Braves.
Nice.
AL favorite, New York Yankees, baby. If we get the pitching and healthy.
If that happens, we won't be able to do this podcast.
Oh, yes, we will.
I don't know, we won't. I would say the Braves are the favorite, again, because, they're not losing anything, really. They lost a couple of relief pitchers, but they're going to – I think Anthopoulos is going to get there and get some start pitching. So I think the Braves will be fine. I think the Braves are definitely the favorite, but close. with the Dodgers in the NL, and then in the AL, I think the Rangers. I mean, they got the money, they got the team, they ain't losing hardly anything either. And if they get DeGrom back next year healthy, Scherzer stays healthy, that pitching staff's still loaded. I think it could be the Rangers Braves in the World Series.
Oof,
but I mean, that's way out there. All right, man. Anything you want to talk about else with baseball before we move on into college football?
No, we got a lot. We got a lot to cover in college football, and we got about 35 minutes.
Oh, we good. We good
to get through it, man. Yeah, we can do it.
Well, we good. College football won't be bad. All right, man. Week 11 is upon us. They released the playoff rankings. Nothing changed in the top four. Ohio State still 1, Georgia 2, Michigan 3, Florida State 4. Do you have any argument with that? Do you think it need to change?
Again, we've talked about this. 1 and 2 really don't matter. But I do think UGA needs to be number 1. They've proven again they beat Missouri, tough team. Missouri's ranked 13th, 12th, somewhere in their ballpark. Mm-hmm. A one-loss team coming into that game. Very, very solid. Ohio State struggled early with Rutgers, and then ended up taking a commanding lead. I think they ended up winning that game 35-16. So they did close strong, which great teams do close strong. But Georgia put the game away in the 4th against a ranked SEC potent offense. So I don't know how in the world they have UGA second. I don't understand that. And Michigan 3, we'll see this weekend if they're really number 3, which we got that game on our schedule for tonight. So Florida State 4. I think that's fair evaluation. Still no Pac-12 in this Final Four, which I don't think that's truly fair. That's why I'm looking forward to this 12-team playoff next year.
I think the 4 here, I mean, you're looking at the top 4 teams, whatever order you put them in, this has been the top 4 all year long. And none of these top 4 have done anything to say you don't need to be in the top 4. So until one of them falters, I think that's what you're going to be looking at. But again, I kind of agree with you on all that. While we mentioned it, we talked about Michigan. Let's update the whole Michigan scandal thing. And I really been thinking a lot about this and where I'm going to go with this take. But Michigan, in case y'all don't know, which if you don't know, then obviously you're not a college football fan or you don't watch anything. Michigan's been
you haven't been listening to Tyler's Talking Sports if you don't know.
Michigan's under investigation for sign stealing with Connor Stallions. Apparently he bought all these tickets to all these games, been on sidelines stealing signs for the last couple of years, giving these signs and helping other teams that could benefit Michigan if they lose to help them in the playoffs, stuff like that. What do you think should all come of this, though? And I mean, all honesty, not being a biased opinion, just you personally, what do you think should happen with all this?
Well, I think, I know there was some more information released that there was actually a previous player who had text messages and screenshots of other teams also doing sign stealing in the Big Ten. So I think it needs to come back to, what they can prove on paper. Like we mentioned, he did resign last Friday from his position, so he's no longer with the organization. They've proven that Harbaugh had nothing to do with it. As far as they can tell, there's no evidence that he had anything to do with it. So how big of a issue is this? Do we really need to drag this on? Is it because this is the biggest story we've had in college football as far as any type of stealing or drama ongoing with college football in a while? So right now, I think it's just more of a media grab, just to try to get some media attention on that. I think kind of myself personally, what needs to happen, we've already seen it, disciplinary action. The coach resigned. You could do a suspension of Harbaugh. I don't really think that's going to matter. 1 game, 2 game suspension, something along those lines. But that's about the extent. Because let's just be honest, all these teams do it. Our favorite teams do it. They all do it. It's just a matter of who gets caught and who don't.
I mean, that's what I was going to say too. I mean, at first I was like, man, this is a big deal. Like, this is just like this is terrible. I mean, but sign stealing in some capacity has been going on. It's part of football. If you're not cheating, if you're not trying to get an advantage on a team, you're not trying to win. And no matter how you go about it. Now, granted, if the dude's on the sidelines, he wasn't supposed to be there. Okay, that's a little different. But I mean, if he's at a football game and he picks up on something, he's like, hey, when Kirby Smart rubs his hair back, they're running a flea flicker. Okay, whatever. But if you're a good team and a good coach, you don't have the same signs week in and week out. And I think one thing, I can't remember who it was that brought it up. It might have been on Pat McAfee show. Put the radios in the helmets in the college football, and you don't have to worry
Nick
about these signs. And I think it's too big. I don't think it's a big deal. I mean, at first I was kind of like, man, this is a big deal. But honestly, it's not that big a deal. It's just trying to get an advantage, and every team is doing something, some sort of something. And even back in high school, when I was watching the film, I would watch the play, and then I would look over toward the sideline to see what the coach did, just like
cheater.
And okay, exactly, that's what I'm saying. But even if like I knew every play that Ole Miss was going to run this weekend, and I could tell you by the way whatever sign it was Lane Kiffin and his coaching staff put in, and I told Kirby Smart, hey, this is what's happening. I promise you, this is what's going to happen. You still got to go out there and stop it, no matter if you know the play's coming. Because I mean, you play teams and you're like, oh, this team can't pass. They're going to run the football. So I mean,
let's just be honest. I mean, the guy was probably just trying to make a name for himself within that organization to try to get it, maybe to try to work into another promotion with that. I think they said he was making $55,000 a year, in the role that he was in. So he's probably trying to figure out, hey, how can I make more money? How can I help my team and make it look like I found out these ideas and everything. So he probably just took it upon himself to do this. And stretch the line a little bit, and actually, take different approaches to finding out what other teams are doing. And like I said, I think somebody got pissed off and figured out what he was doing, so they ratted on him.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I really don't. I think they're kind of blowing this out of proportion from the more evidence that keeps coming out each week. And they couldn't find anything with Harbaugh. And I know earlier in the pods I said, how do you not know this is not going on within your organization? But it's easy. There's a lot of staff members. There's a lot of, coaches on the sidelines. I mean, it's hard to figure out what all your personnel's doing.
Right.
You're not going to know a day-to-day basis, which I get that.
And more than likely, this guy wasn't even feeding Harbaugh any of the information.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I think honestly it comes down to dude's just trying to make a name for himself, trying to do better in his career, and just got caught.
Yeah. And I mean, I know the Big Ten said today or the Michigan came out today or yesterday and said that other Big Ten teams were sharing their signs with other teams. Okay, that's what happens. That's football. That's what goes on. Somebody's called University of Georgia today or the University of Tennessee and said, hey, Missouri, when they do this right here, this is what's happening. Hey, when Ole Miss does this is what's happening.
What happened?
So it happens. The Big Ten also told Michigan they had today to report about their disciplinary notice. Michigan did right before we went live with this pod. They sent them a 10-page paper about something, pretty much saying they're not going to do any discipline. They don't think that it's right. Don't think it's fair. Potential discipline. What do we think as far as potential discipline issues? Like you said, I really don't think anything needs to come of it. And if they want to feel good about it, okay, let's suspend Harbaugh a game. But he's already proved he's suspended 4 games at the beginning of the year, and they're still undefeated. So what's that going to
do? Yeah, I mean, there's no evidence against Harbaugh. The guy already lost his job. He quit on that Friday.
Yeah.
Probably told to quit or be fired, one of the two.
Yeah.
Truth be known, but that's enough in my opinion. Dude lost his job,
I agree.
Let's move on.
Do you think this is enough to push Harbaugh out of Michigan to go to the NFL next year?
No.
I don't either.
He had a 4-game suspension and he's still there.
Yeah, I don't think it is. And then we've already talked about it. Is the sign stealing really that big a deal? And we both don't think it's really that big a deal. It happens all the time. It's a way to get an advantage. And if you're being a smart team, those people that's up in the booth, the whole first half, there's 2 guys up there scouting the other team. It's like, hey, second half, when you see Nick Saban walk out and he points to the right side of the field, they're throwing that way. I mean, you look for stuff like that.
Again, just because you know the signs and everything doesn't mean you're going to win.
Exactly. You got to stop it. But other news, which I was wanting to talk about them anyway, but I didn't realize when I was doing some work, some research on it. JMU. I was going to ask you think does JMU deserve to be talked about for the playoffs and be at a bowl? And I believe both of us agree, yes. But
absolutely, they're 9-0.
Yeah. But I was reading today, JMU officials made another plea to the NCAA the second time this year. They made a plea to the directors Monday to reduce its football program's transition period so that JMU can be eligible to compete in this year's postseason. And in the letter to the director's chairman, Jair Moorhead, the University of Georgia's president, JMU's president, and the AD of JMU, Jeff Bourne, not related to Jason Bourne, argued that
Darn.
argued that the Dukes have embarked on this transition in ways that
my God,
that no other
it's Jeff Bourne.
that no other program
Sorry, I had to.
that no other program has since the rules were put in place. These rules have been in place for 23 years. And football's changed a lot. Programs have changed a lot. These smaller divisional schools have just as much money as some of these big schools now. It ain't like it used to be. And I think JMU has every right in the world. I think the NCAA really needs to think about this and change this rule to get them in there this year.
Absolutely. It's time to evolve. You know, we don't live the same like we did 25 years ago.
Yeah.
The world's changed. The economy's changed. Technology's changed. How about we change this rule so JMU can get into a bowl game?
Those kids deserve it. That coaching staff deserve it. And I can't imagine playing and practicing as hard as they're doing and doing what
knowing it's just going to be over.
That it means nothing. That's sad. But I hope the NCAA does the right thing here and they do make a change to this rule and gets them bowl eligible and allows them to compete for the playoff. And in case anybody's
they should have every right to.
Yeah. In case anybody's wondering, JMU does play UConn at 2:00 on I think it's on CBS Network this weekend, on Saturday at 2:00. JMU should win that game handedly. And hopefully by this weekend, maybe Monday, they'll find out that they're actually going to be bowl eligible and these games actually start meaning something for them. But we're going to move on. We started this last Thursday. These are the Tyler's Talking Sports big games of the weekend that we have. We've picked 6 games, and we're also going to talk about the Thursday night football game, which is tomorrow night. Number 1 on the docket, though, you already kind of touched base on it. Number 3, Michigan, 9-0, playing at number 10, Penn State, noon kickoff on Fox. What you got, bud?
This is a must-win game for Michigan. I mean, they still got Ohio State coming up. I think Ohio State's next week or the week after?
Mm-hmm.
Week after. Yeah, must-win game for Michigan. We know how it is. If Michigan loses this game, and then let's say they lose to Ohio State, their season's over pretty much. So McCarthy's going to have another stellar performance. You know, he is in the Heisman talks. This will be his chance to prove it. This will be the first big game that Michigan's really had to play this year. Michigan did not know this, but they are the number 1 overall defense in the league.
Yep.
Number 1 overall pass offense in the league.
Oh, that's why they got McCarthy in the Heisman talks.
Yeah, offense ranks 43rd overall just due to the Russian attack. But, you know, that's very solid. But if you look at the other side of the table, Penn State, number 2 overall defense, and then offense ranks 61st. So not a huge difference there. This game is on the road. Drew Allar.
Yes,
Allar. It's going to need a great game from him in this one to play Michigan. Michigan's defense, I think, is legit. They look really good. But again, haven't really seen the opponents. We know what Penn State has. We've seen that against Ohio State. You know, we'll see what happens with this game. But give me the Nittany Lions for the upset. I got them winning this one 35-31. Are they doing a whiteout for this game?
I would say, but I mean, it's not going to be the same. It's a noon kick. Why in the world is this game a noon kick?
Yeah, it should be a 7:00 game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I still think, again, Michigan's got, they got to prove something here, and I could be wrong. I think Michigan is a 4.5 or 5.5 favorite at the minute.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's changed on the.
I don't know what the
over-under is, but yeah, I think Penn State could prove something here because they gave Ohio State a decent run. So we'll see. I got Penn State again, 35-31.
Again, I'm not going to repeat anything you tried to say there or anything like that, but I do think this is my game. My pick for this one, I'm going Michigan for the simple fact that they got J.J. McCarthy in that offense. I think that offense is just going to give them just enough to win this game. I think their offense is better than Penn State's. I do think Penn State's defense is better than Michigan's, even though they're ranked backwards, first and second. But I think Michigan wins close. I think a field goal game. I don't know a score here, but I definitely think it's a field goal game. I think J.J. McCarthy is the reason why.
I like that take. Yeah, he's playing lots out. If he continues, we'll see what he does on the roads. It's a road game.
Yeah.
How
if it was a night game in Penn State and it was a big whiteout and everything, probably lean more toward Penn State, but a noon kick, I feel like Michigan's just going to come in and
That place, let's be honest, that place still going to be
it is.
rocking.
It's going to be rocking, but I think Michigan. I think they got a little bit of advantage because of the offense.
I like it.
We'll move on to our number 2 game this week. Big rivalry game here in the ACC. This game dates back years and years. A lot of blood, a lot of just hatred between these two.
Sweat, and tears.
A lot of hatred between these two historically. Miami 6-3 taking on number 4 9-0 Florida State 3:30 ABC. This game right here is going to be an absolute just slugfest. I think it's going to be a tough matchup for Florida State. We know Jordan Travis is a great quarterback. Is Tyler Van Dyke still out for Miami? Do you know?
He's playing.
He is playing.
He got the
nod. So that's a big up for Miami there. I'm going to say this is going to be the toughest matchup for Florida State for this year so far, other than outside of the LSU game.
Outside of
Duke game, Riley Leonard. If Riley Leonard hadn't been hurt in that game, that goes a little differently. But with Tyler Van Dyke being back, and if he is 100%, I think Miami gives them a run here, and I definitely think this game's close. And again, I think this is another field goal type game. Hopefully, it's not wide left as it normally is for Florida State here in this rivalry game. But I think Florida State wins this game low scoring. I think 20-17 is your final in this game.
20-17, I like it. Yeah, I think, you mentioned a key guy there, Jordan Travis. I think he's a difference maker in this game. He's got a 64.4% completion rate on the year, 2,469 passing yards, 19 touchdowns, and only 2 interceptions. I think he's also in the Heisman talks.
Yeah.
He should be. That's excellent numbers. Again, Tyler Van Dyke's going to be playing. Seminoles, just a little facts for y'all, little stats. In case you want to get in on the sports betting on this. So let me give you this. So Seminoles are 17th overall on offense and 34th overall on defense. Miami is 31st overall on offense and 19th on defense. So those two teams are just switched. But I'm going to go with the Seminole Wind again for this one. I like Florida State. They've proven that they're pretty tough. They have a little gut in them, a little grit. Miami's got that too. If they nailed the ball, they're 7-2 right now.
Yeah.
Just want to say that again.
Nail the football.
Brought that up every week. Nail the football, but
Man.
slow start to this game. I think the Noles are going to come out sluggish. I think Miami's going to come out a little sluggish, but it's going to end with a bang. We've seen Florida State come out the second half really hard this year. So I look for Florida State to win this one 38-31.
I like it, man. I like that. Move on to the number 3 game. This is a big matchup right here. Depending on what happens with some other games, this game has a lot of potential to it. But again, if Georgia wins their game this weekend, this game means absolutely nothing. So Tennessee, Missouri, number 13 Tennessee, 7-2 on the year, 3-2 in SEC play at number 14 Missouri, who's 7-2, coming off a loss to Georgia, which played Georgia really well. 3:30 CBS. Before you get into it, I know you're excited about this game, even though you're going to be at the aquarium. I know you'll probably be figuring out how to watch it. I would think, but you might not have enough signal. Who knows? There might be too many people, you won't know what's happening. Who knows? But anyway, I know you'll try to keep tabs.
I'll know what's going on.
Anyway, don't dive into the fish tank if it gets bad.
I don't miss a game.
Okay. Anyway, Tennessee, I think they got more to prove here, though, than Missouri in this game. Missouri's a great team. I watched them last week, and honestly, they played Georgia probably better than anybody has over the last couple of years, other than probably Ohio State in the national title game, or in the national title semifinal. And Missouri is going to give Tennessee a big challenge here, but I think Tennessee's got a lot more to prove. Joe Milton, he's going to have to prove something here. Can he continue to show this upward trajectory he showed over the last couple of weeks? Can another wide receiver step up for him? I think Tennessee's going to have to lean on the run game in this game. I think not that they haven't had to all year, but I think if Joe Milton can just stay mistake-free, if Thornton can step up, somebody outside of Squirrel White can step up in this game for Tennessee, and one of the 3-headed monsters they got in the backfield has a good game, and they just stay mistake-free, I think Tennessee can win this game. It's going to be tough in Missouri. Brady Cook is really good. That offensive line is absolutely elite in Missouri. Luther Burden is an absolute stud. This is going to be a real test for Tennessee secondary, especially with Haddon out for the year. I do think this game, for whatever reason, it's just odd. I think this game is going to be kind of high scoring. I think you could see. I think Tennessee's going to win this game 38-32. type game, but I do think it's close all the way through. I think it's a 4-quarter game.
Yeah, I agree with you there. It's definitely going to be a 4-quarter game. Both these teams are tied for second right now in the SEC behind Georgia, like you just mentioned. It is a 3:30 CBS kickoff game, so hopefully I should be out of the aquarium by then. So don't you worry.
You know what I hate about this, though?
What's that?
It's in Missouri, so they have that weird camera angle. Like when you watch a game,
real far back.
It's real far back and low, just like they do at Syracuse. It's real far back and low.
I hate their stadium.
Yeah.
God, I hate it. It's kind of like Vandy, too. Vandy's kind of the same way.
Yeah, Vandy's ain't even together.
Yeah, true that. But anyway, Joe Milton, you mentioned him. He has to continue to play at the level he's played since the Alabama game. As long as we don't have a Texas A&M repeat. Each week, Joe Milton looks more comfortable in that offense. They're finally settling in, it looks like, with that OC. So we're finally starting to see the deep ball from Joe. We're seeing Joe hit middle of the field passes with some slant routes. You mentioned another wide receiver stepping up. Of course, Squirrel White's going to have to continue to have a good game this week. Dante Thornton has been stepping up this past few games. He's actually caught quite a few passes. Ramel Keaton's going to have to stay healthy too, so keep doing what he's doing. And we might see some, Chase Nimrod step up on this.
Nimrod.
We might see somebody we haven't really talked about much, a freshman. So we might see somebody like that step up. You mentioned, too, pass defense for Tennessee. We got tore up against Kentucky. If you go back and look at what he threw for 378 yards.
That's what worries me in this game.
That's what worries me, too, because if you let Cook have time, he'll cook you.
Yeah.
So a little bit worried there. Pass defense struggled that first drive against UConn, too. Obviously, we know what happened there. They turned it around. Balls are good on defense, a lot better than they were previous years. So we'll see if they can maybe tighten that up. Haddon is out. It has played a little bit of a factor, we've noticed, on that back end, but we'll see what happens there. Balls have only won 2 on the road in the past 2 years against SEC opponents. So that's a little bit nervous side for me as well. Last year, if you look, though, and the year before, Heupel has dominated Missouri. Last year, they beat them 66-24, but that was at home. Also, too, we had Hendon Hooker, and that offense was just lights out. But Mizzou's different this year. They have Brady Cook, and they have Luther Burden, like you just mentioned, who's an absolute stud. Burden did go out against Georgia with an ankle injury, did end up coming back and finishing that game. So I am kind of curious how he plays this game, because we all know that, when you're in the game, you're going to be running off a little bit of momentum, a little bit of steam. So might still be favoring that ankle a little bit. We might see that play a little bit of a factor on him this week. As a Tennessee fan, I kind of hope he is still a little nervous, running them routes. Maybe that'll play a little bit of edge for our corners and our safeties. Ball's rank is surprisingly 13th on offense. And that's mainly due to the rush. I think they're second in rushing overall in the country. And they, Jalen Wright is going to have a good game again this game. 21st on defense, which is very solid. Mizzou's actually 37th on offense and 42nd overall on defense. So on paper, Tennessee looks much better. But last week, I watched that Missouri and Georgia game. That was a heck of a game. Missouri did have a chance to hang in there with Georgia in the fourth. Of course, Georgia pulled away 31-20. Another thing, one key factor, as Vols fans listening on this, and I'll wrap up my take because I could go on volunteer football all night, penalties. We've had 70 yards of penalties per game. We are the most penalized SEC school in the SEC, so that's going to have to play a big factor in this game. We're going to have to not beat ourselves, no turnovers, just going to have to put together the best game we've played. This is the biggest game for Tennessee this season, because let's say we do have a game coming up here, Georgia and Ole Miss. Let's say something crazy happens there. That means this Tennessee-Georgia game coming up the week after is going to be awesome. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a tight one. I think it's going to be a dog race. I do think it's going to be low scoring. I think we're going to see the defenses actually show up a little bit more in this one. So I got the Vols winning 24-21.
You also got to think about also with Missouri, Cody Schrader, dude's leading the SEC in rushing. He's been a stud. He's got 919 yards, 10 touchdowns on 162 carries.
Yeah, Missouri's offense is legit.
And Burden, talking about him, he has 64 receptions for 958 yards and 7 touchdowns. Ural's leading receiver, Squirrel White, with 556 yards and 2 touchdowns. Y'all are a 1-point favorite, and the Vegas is expecting this to kind of be high scoring. It's 58.5 is the over-under. But it is going to be nice football weather. That was a game I would like to be at. It's going to be 51 degrees and partly cloudy for a 3:30 kick. It's going to be a nice weather game there. But, yeah, I think we both said Tennessee going to win that one, so Missouri's probably going to win. All right, next to the next game.
I'll lose it.
Another game, another 3:30 game on the Big Ten Network, a game that's very intriguing. I think you got two teams here that can play some defense. Rutgers at 6-3 playing number 22 Iowa, who is 7-2 with absolutely no offense. They're like the Pittsburgh Steelers of the college football. They're actually colored the same way as the Steelers, which is really weird too.
Yep.
Horrendous offense,
and they're both coached by Mike Tomlin. Crazy.
But this game is at Iowa. It's a 3:30 game. Again, if y'all are new to college football or haven't ever watched the Iowa football game, tune into this one at least till halftime and watch them turn around and wave to the kids at the Children's Hospital. It's one of the greatest traditions of college football. The whole crowd turns, the players from both teams, they turn and wave at the kids at the Children's Hospital who are watching the game from the windows. It's just a really good thing to watch. But back to this game, as far as who I think will win, again, Rutgers got a great defense. They kind of played at Ohio State tough, but I'm going to go with Iowa at home in a very, very low-scoring game. I'm saying 10-7 final score Iowa here in this one.
Yeah, this game's going to be all defense. You talked about Rutgers' offense; it's absolutely horrid. They're 106th overall, and I that's terrible. The defense though is 11th overall, which really surprised me.
Greg Schiano.
Iowa, it's even worse. They're 133rd in offense. How many college football teams are 136?
142.
142. Okay, yeah. Well, they're towards the bottom.
Yep.
16th overall on defense, so extremely defense game. That's why I can't stand watching these Iowa games and stuff because it just bores the crap out of me. But it's good football. Defense is great football. It's what you want to see. Surprisingly, Iowa's got 2 losses to Minnesota and Penn State. They lost to Penn State pretty big, 34-0. I think Minnesota was like 14-7 or 14-12 final. Rutgers lost last week to Ohio State. Tough game there too. They were leading there for a little bit. But give me Iowa in a Borefest, 17-13.
I want to see what the over-under is now. I'm curious. I didn't even look at that.
It's probably like 30 points.
I wouldn't even say it's that. It is 28.5.
Wow.
Iowa is a 1.5-point favorite.
Should be a good game.
47 degrees and partly cloudy. Going to be a good one. 3:30 kick.
Yeah.
But move on to the next game here on the docket, guys. Another 3:30 game. 3:30's piled up with some games. On Fox, you got number 18 Utah, 7-2, coming in to Washington. Number 5 Washington, who is 9-0. Michael Penix, Big Penix Energy. 3:30 on Fox. You've heard us talk about Washington almost every week. It seems like we bring them up, and I feel like we talked about Utah a lot too. Utah's still trying that 2-quarterback system. It's been hit or miss for them. The defense is pretty good, but they just don't have the talent on offense to match their defense. I feel like is getting tired down the stretch here. These last couple of games, they showed some big holes, gave it some big plays. I think this will be a good game for a while, but I do think Washington pulls away in the end because of Michael Penix and that offense, and I think Washington wins this game 45-27.
Yeah, I got Washington big. You want to know why? You know what else is big? Big Penix Energy is what's big. I don't know what you was thinking, but 3,201 pass yards, 26 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and a 69.2% completion rate. I can't even finish my tape because that's so great and big. Big Penix Energy, 4th overall offense. I didn't realize how bad Washington was on defense. They're 102nd.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that's taking a bad halt. And went the wrong direction.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of a little worrisome there, but Utah's got no offense. They're 95th overall in offense, complete defense game. I think we're going to see a repeat what happened with Oregon and Utah because Washington's offense might as well be the same as Oregon's offense. It's almost identical. So I think, look what Bo Nix did. You're about to see what Big Penix Energy is going to do. Give me Washington 45-17.
Oof. Utes. Not winning this one. All right, let's go to the biggest game of the weekend. This game, I didn't realize it till today. This is the first time these two have played each other since 2016, and it's the first time they've played in Athens since 2006. And this is going to be a huge game. This is Ole Miss, number 9 Ole Miss, 8-1 on the year, only lost to Alabama, going to number 2 Georgia, 7:00 game in Athens, night game, biggest game they've had in Athens since probably Notre Dame coming to town. It's going to be a tough one. Lane Kiffin, we all know he can. Jackson Dart.
Throw the mustard.
Jackson Dart, that offense is electric. Their defense is pretty bad. It's down there, kind of like LSU's defense. Georgia's just every game, every week, it's like they just keep getting better and better. They keep getting the best shot from everybody. Everybody's played them has been giving them their best shot. Carson Beck's been playing great. Oscar Delp's been coming along, playing in place of Brock
Macaulay Culkin.
Lad McConkey.
Yeah, Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah. I looked today. I was looking at the Heisman thing. They've got Carson Beck third best odds right now for the Heisman.
What a beautiful man.
Yeah, he's ugly. This game, though, I think is going to be. I'm nervous about it. I am very, very nervous about this game. 7:00. I'm going to be sitting here on this couch back here behind me, and probably not going to move for many, many moments. But I do think Georgia will prevail. I think their defense is just going to be the puts them over the top. I think they're going to force some turnovers. Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin, it seems like they get to these points every year. We talk about Ole Miss like, oh, they beat Bama, they can beat this team. And then they get to that point, and then it's like either the wheels fall off the offense or they make these turnovers, and it just costs them the game. I do think Ole Miss is going to make Georgia nervous. I think it's going to be very nerve-wracking down there in Athens. I do not think this is going to be an easy game, but I do think Georgia wins this game close. I think they win this game 28-21 final.
Ooh, I like it. Yeah, this game's going to be. I think we're going to watch Ole Miss take a lead early. We've seen that all season with Georgia. I think Georgia's opponents are outscoring them every first quarter. I can't remember the exact number, but it's pretty substantial. And then we know Georgia's a second half team. As the game goes on, Georgia progresses and gets better. Start reading better. Coaching's excellent, obviously. But yeah, I think a big thing here too. UGA ranks 6th overall in offense, 9th overall in defense. I mean, they're top 10 in both categories. Mm-hmm. They're number 1. They're back-to-back national champions. Again, they got the target on their back. Like everybody's trying to be like Georgia. I just don't think Ole Miss has it this year. Jackson Dart's good, but we're going to see the same thing that happened to Ole Miss when they played Bama. I think Georgia's going to wear that offense down. That defense is legit. So I got this one, the Dogs again, 31. Ole Miss 20. So I think we're going to see an exact repeat score of Missouri. I think it's going to be just like the Missouri game. It's going to be back and forth. Ole Miss is going to have a chance to potentially tie or potentially take the lead. Somehow Georgia's defense is going to prevail, get a stop, get a much-needed score, put the game away in the 4th.
I like it.
So give me Georgia. It's in Athens. Yeah. That's a tough place to play.
Yeah, it's a night game, and they haven't had. I think Georgia's had the least amount of night games of any team in the country over the last 5 years, and this year they've got like 3 or 4. Kirby said at the beginning of the year, y'all wanted night games, so here they are. You better show out, and that crowd's going to be loud. It's going to be rocking in Athens.
It's going to come down to defenses, and like I said, on paper, Ole Miss just doesn't. Defense is just not there. Yeah. They're 61st overall in defense.
Another game, we're just going to talk about it just because tomorrow night, Thursday night football, a lot of people focus on Thursday night. Probably not the best Thursday night game of the year, but you do have a team that's very intriguing and a one-loss Louisville team playing UVA. UVA has actually been playing some inspiring football over the last couple of weeks. They could keep this game close. I'm not going to talk too much about this one, but I do think Louisville prevails at home. I think Louisville – did you see the I don't know if I sent it to you. They're doing a glow-in-the-dark jersey. It's a black.
Yeah, they just did the white helmet with the black jerseys, and now they're doing this. Yeah. Man, it's sick.
Yeah,
it's like Oregon on the East Coast.
Yeah, it's going to be really nice. For people that hasn't seen it, go to try to find Louisville on Twitter or their Facebook. It's an all-black jersey, but the numbers and on the chest it says Elville. It all glows in the dark, and I think the cardinal on the helmet glows too. So it's a black. Stuff. It's all black uniform. UVA. I mean. I can't help but not want to see them do well just through the situation some of the players went through last year with that terrible shooting that happened. But
they've succeeded what they were expected. They were expected only to win 1 game, I think, this year, or 0 games. And they've won 2. So,
but I can see UVA keeping it close in the first quarter, but after that, I think Louisville takes this game over. I think Louisville wins this game pretty big. I'm going to say 38-10 final.
I got 38-17 was what I wrote down. Okay. Louisville. Just because it is a home game. If this game was at UVA, I think we might be a little bit closer. But UVA just doesn't have it this year. They did beat North Carolina. So I don't know.
Who knows? Maybe it's Thursday night.
If this could really shake things up in the ACC if they beat Louisville.
Ooh, so yeah. All right, well, that's all we got for college football. We're going to move on, though. We're going to keep it throwing the pigskin around. We're going to move up to the next league of football. The NFL had a big, kind of a big signing in a way, a big name. Carson Wentz signed with the Rams this week to be the backup for Matthew Stafford. Still isn't sure if he's going to be able to play Sunday due to injury. That was a big signing. Another thing with as far as injuries go, Aaron Rodgers. I was watching that game, the beginning of that game, him throwing passes, dropping back like it was nothing. This is absolutely unreal.
Insane.
It is. It's crazy. And he did hint. I know. I think it was Darwin James asked him after the game. They share the same.
2 weeks.
Yeah, he said, "Give me." He said, "Give me a couple weeks, 2 weeks." But I did watch on the Pat McAfee show. Aaron Rodgers said he didn't know that was going to be on the microphone. He should have known. He said 2 weeks is probably not where he'll be. He's looking at a couple more weeks down the road. He's looking 3.
Still though,
but where he's at, he's that dude. I have no words for what he's doing. Like, I'm interested to see, not to bring up another injury, but Kirk Cousins, he's got the ACL, he's got the Achilles tear too.
Not even gonna be close.
I want to see how long it takes him to come back and be throwing 50-yard bombs like Aaron Rodgers was this past weekend.
Rodgers must have had like a fusion or something too. The dude loves science and all this stuff too. I don't know.
It's crazy, man.
It's hard to say. It's hard to say what he's done.
It is,
but I love Aaron Rodgers. Hope he gets back.
Hey, if he gets,
Jets need him.
Jets need him bad in a bad way. In other news, kind of shocking in a way. I mean, kind of, sort of. Will Levis was named the QB1 by Mike Vrabel in the Tennessee Titans. Ryan Tannehill is healthy, but they got him as the backup now, so it looks like the Tannehill era is over in Nashville, and they're moving on with Will Levis, which you draft the guy to bring him in there. He's done good these last 2 games. Now it's his team. Let's see what he can do. It's going to be interesting. Another thing that's going on, speaking of Will Levis, they just got done playing the Pittsburgh Steelers, and apparently there's some drama in Pittsburgh, and it's kind of interesting. We kind of talked about it last week with George Pickens, and it was brought up to Tomlin, and he said it's a pebble in his shoe. I didn't get to hear him say this, so I don't know how he meant that. Did he mean it's a pebble in his shoe, like it means nothing to him? Like, okay, a pebble's small, or is he talking about that's super annoying if you have a pebble in your shoe and you're walking on it all day? That's super annoying. George Pickens is a super, super great athlete. Great wide receiver. Yeah. He was a stud at Georgia, but he had attitude issues at Georgia. He got suspended for 2 games for throwing a punch. He had some issues. You're a Steelers fan. What's your take with this whole George Pickens stuff?
I mean,
is he justified?
I think he's fine. Tomlin will get him settled down. Tomlin's a great head coach. Again, we talked about this. Steelers are outgained every game by every opponent, and they're 5-3 right now, and they're sitting tied. I think second in that division, but first in the actual division. I think the Ravens are 7-2, right?
I think it's like 7-2.
Something like that, and the Steelers are 5-3, with the tie with the Browns
and the Bengals.
And the Bengals. Everybody's 5-3, which is crazy. Yeah. Hardest division in college or in NFL right now. But anyway, I think Tomlin's meaning like a pebble in his shoe. He's meaning like it's a small inconvenience, small annoyance that he will shut down very quickly.
I like to see that. I don't want to see it turn into another Antonio Brown situation. I did talk to a Steelers fan today at work, and he was like, you know what? If he's going to be that way, that's not the Steelers' way. We don't want that drama. Get him out. I don't care how good he is. But
I mean, look at the wide receivers we've traded and stuff over these past couple years. Claypool and a couple other guys too. So Pickens needs to go because of drama. Let him go.
Find somebody else. Speaking of
else.
Steelers wide receivers, a former Steelers wide receiver, Martavis Bryant, signed with the Cowboys this week. He's been playing the XFL. I think he played in the Arena Football League, but he definitely played in the XFL the last year. Done really well. Got reinstated by the NFL after some suspensions. Not sure he's going to make a big impact with the Cowboys, but it's definitely there for depth. So,
I think it's a depth hire, like you said. The dude's 31 now, so I think after 30, once you're in, if you're a wide receiver, your time's cut short.
I agree. And then for your fantasy people out there, or Bengals fans that are listening, Jamar Chase, they're unsure if he will be able to play in Week 10, so that's going to be interesting. Burrow been on it the last couple of weeks, so that's going to be interesting to see how that goes if he's able to play. And we're also going to throw a pick out there, even though this game is absolutely horrendous. the Thursday night football game.
Oh.
Not only is it on Prime, which is terrible, it is the Carolina Panthers versus Chicago Bears, and Justin Fields is doubtful for that game. Buddy, who's going to win the snooze fest here?
I'm gonna go with the Bears. Why not?
Go with the Bears. Go with the D3 quarterback. That's what I'm going with it too. I'll go with the Bears on this one. The Panthers still just don't have it. Still
The
young.
Panthers did get their first win last week.
They did.
Or week before last.
Yeah.
I done forgot because it was so boring. But yeah, 1-6 now I think on the year.
1-6 on the year. We'll move on though to Sunday. The NFL games coming up. Pick 4 games. One of them's a Monday night game. There's really not many games this week. It's really that big, but
there's one on here that
there's
I'm looking forward to.
There's one that's going. And all the good games are at 1 o'clock. Let's go ahead and tell you all that.
Yep.
Got Saints and Texans at 1 o'clock. 2 great teams. 2 teams that are playing probably above expectations in a way.
Way above.
I'm going to throw out a quick pick there. I'm going to go with the Texans on that one, just for the simple fact that C.J. Stroud has been playing out of his mind. Who you got now?
I'm going to go with the veteran. I'm going to do the opposite.
Derek Carr?
I'm going to go with Derek Carr.
I like it.
Yeah, Saints.
All right. The other big game at 1 o'clock, you have the 49ers and the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm going with the Jacksonville Jaguars in this one, even though I think the 49ers are going to get back to what they were doing these last couple of weeks, but I think this will be, 4 straight losses for them if they lose?
Yeah, if they lose. Key thing in this is at Jacksonville.
Yep.
So I'm going to go with my boy T-Law.
Ooh, 4 straight losses for Niners. Hate that for you Niners fans. Here's the game, though, you were talking about, the big one, probably the biggest one of the weekend. The Browns versus the Baltimore Ravens, 1 o'clock. Browns defense number 1 in the NFL. They're barely giving up anything. Deshaun Watson should be playing this game. He's not on the injury report. Granted, he's not been playing too well. Last week, Baltimore won, and Lamar Jackson didn't even play good. So
they didn't just barely win. They whooped Seattle.
Yeah, they whooped them. So that defense is coming along really well. Roquan Smith talked about it this week. He said it feels good to be playing on a contender and not being in Chicago. That defense is playing good. Everybody knows Lamar Jackson can turn it on at any time. I'm going with the Browns in this one, though. I think the Browns are going to pull it off. I think that defense with Myles Garrett and everybody, Denzel Ward, I think that defense is going to be the X factor in this one, and I think they win this game.
Spaz, I hate to admit it, I'm going to go with the Ravens on this one. Obviously, I want both teams to lose. Me being a Steelers fan, but I'm going to have to go with the Ravens. They beat really good teams. They beat the Lions like it was nothing, like 38-3 or 38-6. Last week they beat Seattle, 36, 38-0,
35-0.
I mean, dominated. Yeah, dominated them. Give me the Ravens.
And then last but not least, the Monday Night Football game, which this game actually became a little bit more bigger after the Broncos beat the Chiefs. They played the Bills in Buffalo, and the Buffalo's been probably the biggest roller coaster of any NFL team this year. One game they're
biggest
up,
flop
one game
so
they're down. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say Denver wins this game close, win by a field goal, and it's going to be low scoring. I'm going to say Denver wins this game 17-14.
I'm going to go with the Bills. You know me. I like the Bills.
I like Josh Allen.
I love Josh Allen. Josh Allen been playing fine. He had 1 interception last game. I think he threw for 378 yards or something like that. 338 yards. And they still lost.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Something's going on there with Diggs. I do think this will be Diggs last year, but give me the Bills in a close one.
I like it.
24-21. Could go either way. Russell Wilson's great. I'm fine with the Broncos winning this one if they have to, since it is your team. But other than that, give me the Bills.
I hope they win. It'd be great so I can continue to show my Broncos pride out and about. But, all right, man, that's it for football. That's it for you know what? That's it for sports, guys. That's it. Tyler's Talking Sports. We're no longer Tyler's Talking Sports. We're out. We're done. We're done with football, baseball, basketball. This is something a little new. Me and Castle are avid video gamers when we have time, but, we became adults, got married, had kids, and kind of changed some things. But big game drops this weekend. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. I'm going to let you handle this, and then I'll give you my take on everything. Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, so Modern Warfare 3 does drop. I think it drops Friday, right?
Yes.
Yes, Xbox. Add Hess and I if y'all want to play with us. Just reach out. We'll give you a gamer tags. We'll be on Discord too, I'm sure, and Xbox Live. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the multiplayer. The campaign's already been out. I haven't played the campaign much. I think this is the same game engine, if I'm not mistaken, from Modern Warfare 2. We did play the beta. The beta felt really fresh.
It felt good.
Apparently, there's no tuning of weapons.
They did take that out.
So I'm really looking forward to that. It's not going to be so complex and complicated. I feel like they had way too much. Let's simplify stuff. We got myself and anybody else that plays video games now as an adult, like I said, with kids or all these other responsibilities. You just want to sit down and play a video game. You don't want to have to go through these tuning, watching videos, and figuring out what's the best scenario for your gun and why you're not aiming correctly or why you keep losing gun battles. So I'm glad they're taking that out, simplifying the game down a little bit, bringing the old maps back, modernize the maps too, clearer vision. I think MW3 could actually be the MW2 that we was hoping from last year, but we're finally going to get it this year in 2023. And this is a must-win game
for the whole franchise.
For Call of Duty, for the whole franchise. Like, the last couple games have flopped terribly. They've lost a lot of their fan base. A lot of people my age, your age, don't even play video games anymore. For that reason, they're tired of wasting their money. One good thing with that is that you told me that you can refund a game now up to how many days? 30 days?
I refunded. I bought Madden 24. So I thought I'd actually play it, and I never played it. And I bought it and pre-ordered it. I actually played. I had 8 hours of game time, and I refunded it 2 weeks ago. It's been out since before the football in August. It was been out since August.
That's incredible. So I do have that option if it completely flops, and I will be taking that. And just I guess if this game flops, I'm waiting for Grand Theft Auto.
Speaking of Grand Theft Auto, they did release today that the trailer for the new one will be out. I think around my birthday, December 6th. So,
day after. Nice.
Yeah. Also, you're talking about going back old school here with Call of Duty. Fortnite went back last week. I know there's a lot of people that didn't play Fortnite. Went back to the original map, and a lot of the gamers, some of your big time gamers, are talking like you just said. We're starting to realize that less is more when it comes to the game. Like this whole Fortnite thing, they got rid of a lot of the crazy stuff that was in it and just made it a simple game. It's been a blast. I played it with the wife and Braxton. Been playing it with some of the friends and stuff, and I'm excited about this Call of Duty though. Like I'm hoping these older maps, bringing them back, getting rid of some of the complexities of the weapon builds, brings it back to what it used to be. Again, less is more, I think, in the video game world right now, and we're excited about it. And again, if y'all want to play with us, hit us up. We'll give you our gamer tags. We'll try to play with you. Hopefully, we have some time to hit it up, and I'm excited about it. But
I'm actually looking forward to this.
I hope it's good. But we're gonna move on. Final thoughts. You got anything else you want to add in there, buddy?
Nothing for this pod. Again, thanks to all our viewers and listeners for tuning in. I know episode 9 has done really well, as you've told me.
Yeah.
Which I feel like we had a lot more to go over in this episode, and a little bit easier. If you watch the previous episode, I was on vacation, so it's a little bit harder to get everything working and sounding correctly.
I'm not sick, really sick this time either, so it's been good.
Yeah, so we're making improvements, man, along the way, and appreciate y'all hanging in there with us too. Has put out a video about clips and everything while we've been a little bit slower this past week and stuff. He's been battling some sickness. I was also gone out of it on vacation, so we didn't really have much time to chat like we normally do. It's very hectic, very busy on my end, and he just didn't feel good on his end. So we do apologize for that, but we'll be back in full
swing,
full ongoing. I'm sure, full swing moving forward. Again, give us a follow on social media, podcasting. Listen, share with your friends, share with your buddies. It really does mean a lot. Reach out to us, if we're out in public, ask us questions. If we don't know it, we'll figure it out. But that's my final thoughts.
Yeah, I'm with you, man, on all that. Again, sorry for the last episode, not getting the clips and stuff out there. Just still trying to get all the stuff out there on Facebook as much as possible. This episode, we did take a little different turn on it. Want to add a little bit more in-depth stuff to some stuff we don't talk about that much. But look, we got a little college football heavy on some of the past podcasts, which, granted, that's the big thing going on. But I also wanted to get away from being so in-depth with college football and talk about these other sports and go about it a little differently. So this episode's a little bit longer, but I feel like we really covered a lot of ground, took a lot of detail into stuff, and let us know what you think about it. After you listen to it, even if you only listen to half of it, let us know what you think about it. Do we need to kind of go back to the more college football base, or do you like this kind of route with things? I'm excited about this episode, see what it does. Also, my last thing, though, to my NASCAR fans out there, we talked about Ryan Blaney winning the championship, and Kevin Harvick, his final race was last weekend. Final thoughts, though, I read a thing today. In Kevin Harvick's first race, Jeff Gordon won the pole in the 24 car at Rockingham. The number 1 car, Steve Park, won the race. In Kevin Harvick's final race, the number 24 car, William Byron, was on the pole, and the number 1 car in Ross Chastain won the race.
That's awesome.
So it kind of came a big full circle moment for him. I thought that was a pretty cool little fact. So all my NASCAR guys out there that listen, there's you a cool fact about NASCAR.
I want to give a fun fact about NASCAR. Since, last episode I botched that. Left turn. They take a lot of left turns.
And they're repaving North Wilkesboro.
Nah, I'm just going to stay out of North Carolina. I'm not going there.
But looking ahead toward Sunday, guys, next week's going to be a little different for us here at Tyler's Talking Sports. It is going to be officially, as soon as Saturday ends, it will become for me, it will become Balls Hate Week. For Castle, it will become UGA Hate Week. And all week long, we're going to be dropping stuff on social media about each school, history of the rivalry, stuff that's went on between the schools. We're going to have a lot of – we may go live in some little clips here and there just to share some thoughts on some stuff throughout the week. It's going to be really, really fun, and it's all going to lead up to a very special event that we're working on and planning. We're going to be in Knoxville Saturday. It's a 3:30 kick on CBS. We're going to be there. Our plan is to have live feed. We're going to do some clips down there to be live on all of our social medias. We're going to interview students. Heck, if we get a chance, we grab a couple players that are coming in or a coach, get a quick word with them. SEC Network is going to be down there. I already know that. That's already on their docket, so there's a chance, Tim Tebow, some of them guys down there. We're going to try to go all out. This is going to be a big deal for us, and we're excited about it. So next week's going to be a little different, but be ready. It's going to be great. And like I said, as of Saturday, I no longer like this guy. It's on the other side of me.
Well, it's okay. I don't like you now.
And if for some reason Georgia loses to Ole Miss, it becomes a whole different ballgame next week too.
Yeah, if Georgia loses to Ole Miss and Tennessee beats Missouri, this game, oh man, it's going to be something. And of course, I want that to happen. I don't necessarily see that happening. But we'll see. College football's wild, man. That'd be insane.
But we're excited about it.
I would love it.
We're really excited about it. It's going to be fun. We'll keep you all updated on what we're going to do. It's going to be great. We'll get to that on Sunday. We'll talk more about it. But that's all we got for episode 10. We're really excited about this episode. Hope y'all enjoyed it. I appreciate everything y'all do. I appreciate the likes, the shares, the follows, the comments, the emails, everything. The walking up to us and see us in public and say, hey, guys, like the pod. You don't know what it means to us. I appreciate it. That's all I got coming over here from Hess. Castle, you got anything else you want to say?
Happy Thursday. Good morning. Have a great day.
I love it, man.
Thank y'all.
Yeah. Y'all have a good one. Talk to y'all later. See y'all.
Bye.
Bye.